Hi, I'm Jason Duro. I'm an epic fantasy author and voiceover artist, and I'm a recent arrival here at YouTube. I first wanted to thank everybody who already has followed me here and has subscribed to my channel and has been interacting with my videos. Whether you followed me over from TikTok, where I've been active for a long time, or just found me here on YouTube, I hugely appreciate it, and thank you so much for the support here. I've been making a lot of videos on here about the writing process and the publishing process and all of that, but I haven't really talked a whole lot about my own writing, so I thought I'd take a few minutes to do that this week. If you've read anything that I've written, it's probably this book, AKITHAR'S Greatest Trick. It's been out since 2021, and it's the first book in my Teshovar series. It's epic fantasy, and I have been working on the sequel to this, Teshovar Book 2, for over a year now. I usually am a faster writer than that, but this new book is a big one, and it's significantly bigger than AKITHAR'S Greatest Trick. And I finally finished the first draft of it at the end of last month, the end of January, and so I'm super excited about that. The first draft of the book came in around 250,000 words, just above that, which is much more than I wanted it to be. This book was around 170,000 words, and you can see how big this thing is. It's already pretty huge, but the new one is 250,000 words. This was about 30, I think it was 39 chapters, and the new one is 51 chapters, so it's significantly bigger. I expected that it would be bigger because it's a more complex story and has more characters, more going on, but I was shooting for around 200,000 words and overshot that by just a little bit. So I will be editing and trying to cut that down a bit, doing some revisions and all that sort of stuff like usual, but really excited that I finally got that first draft finished. And I have a tradition, after I finish the first draft of a book, that's the time when I announce the title to everybody else. I don't tell anyone the title till after that first draft is finished and out there. So I can say now, the title of Teshovar Book 2, the sequel to AKITHAR'S Greatest Trick, is Lysandra's Deepest Fear. And it will be coming out later this year after I finish the revisions, after I get everything ready and have it well on the way. So later this year, you'll be able to pick up Teshovar Book 2, Lysandra's Deepest Fear. And I also have a tradition of, after I finish a first draft, I take a month away from the book before I even start doing revisions, because I like to do the revisions in a mindset different from what my mindset was when I was actually writing the draft of the book. I want to, when I start doing the revisions and I read it for the first time, to read it from as much of a reader perspective as I can, to try to see the book as blank as I can and try to come to it without all the expectations and baggage that I had while I was writing it. So I take a month away from it, and that's what I'm doing right now in February. I finished writing the first draft at the end of January, and I'm not touching the book at all throughout all of February. And on March 1st, I'll be starting the revisions on Lysandra's Deepest Fear. And you might be wondering, if I'm not working on that during February, what am I doing? Am I just sitting around playing video games? Well, yes, but also I need to be productive. And one of the things that has been the most requested, that the most readers have asked for, and the most people who want to read my books have asked for, is when I'm going to make the audiobooks of the books that I already have out. And I'm a voiceover artist, so it seems natural that I would get the audiobooks out, but I just haven't had a chance to until now. So that's what February is all about. I am actively working right now on the audiobook of this, of AKITHAR'S Greatest Trick, as well as the prequel to this, which is called The Gem of Tagath. And that prequel, up until this point, has been only available in ebook format, and it's been only available to people who sign up for my email newsletter, which you can find the link to do that down below in the description here. But if you haven't read it that way and you have wanted to find another way to do it, or if you just maybe haven't felt like signing up for my newsletter, this will be the first opportunity that anyone has had to officially get this story outside of signing up for my newsletter. So right now, the one that I'm actively working on is the audiobook for The Gem of Tagath. It's chronologically the first story in my Teshovar series. I wrote it after I wrote AKITHAR'S Greatest Trick, but I actually released it before that, and it's set before that by a few months. But you can read either of those books in either order, it doesn't really matter. But chronologically, The Gem of Tagath is the first, so I'm doing that audiobook first. I have finished recording it, and I'm voicing it myself, and now I'm going through doing the editing and revising and all of that stuff. And let me tell you, for someone who, I'm a voiceover artist, I usually don't do audiobooks. I usually do ads and promotional stuff, commercial work, things like that. And doing an audiobook is hard work. I'm learning a lot through the process, and it's not as awful as I expected it to be, but it is a tough process to go through. It's a tough job. So I'm working on The Gem of Tagath. As soon as I finish that, I will start working on the audiobook for AKITHAR'S Greatest Trick, and I don't think I'll have enough time to finish both of them this month. I was shooting for that, but I don't think realistically I can do that. But that work will continue forward. So I'm hoping by the end of this month that I will actually release the audiobook for The Gem of Tagath. So I'll update here when that happens. I'll update on all my social media and everything. So make sure you subscribe and follow me on socials so you can see when that happens. Another thing that I'm working on right now, speaking of my socials, is I'm trying to broaden my social presence. Up until now, I've been most active on TikTok, and that's still the case. I'm very active on BookTok. I'm on there every day. I have over 1,000 videos on there by this point, and I am just constantly creating content. But I wanted to diversify a little bit just in case there are people who are not on TikTok or don't want to go on there, or if the unthinkable happens, something happens to my TikTok account, I wanted to make sure that I'm accessible elsewhere as well. So I have started growing my presence here on YouTube, and I also this month have started up a reader group on Facebook that you can join. It's for anyone who has read and enjoyed my writing, or even if you haven't read my stuff yet, if you are into fantasy books in general, if you're into writing, any of the topics that I talk about here or on my TikTok, I'm trying to create a community around that on Facebook through my reader group. And I have had a really good response to it so far. I've had some great folks joining in, and the membership is growing day by day. So I would love to have you in it as well. If you are interested, you can find the link down below. It's listed as my reader group. You can go and click there, and it's a private group so that we don't have a lot of people coming in, spamming it, doing all that kind of thing. But all you have to do is answer one question and look at the rules for the group, and I will let you in. And it's a thing that I'm sort of moderating who gets into it. But if you're here and watching this and interested, then you are more than welcome to come join us. We're having some fun conversations there about books that we enjoy, about authors, about the writing process and creativity in general. So come join us over there and start up some conversations of your own. And I also am planning to use that Facebook group to grow out a sort of street team to help me promote my releases in the future, and I also am going to be soliciting there for ARC readers for future releases that I do. I'll be doing that on my other social media too, but that's going to be a really good sort of closed community where you might be the first to find out when I'm wanting to solicit for some new stuff and wanting to get help with promoting. So I would appreciate that help as well, and it'll be fun to join in and become a part of the community as it grows. So if I've been doing all this in February, what do I have coming up for March in my writing plans? Well, there are three big things on the schedule. The first one is I expect that I probably won't finish recording the audiobook for AKITHAR'S Greatest Trick this month. So that'll carry forward into March, and hopefully by the end of March I will have finished and released that audiobook as well. So hopefully by the end of February I'll have the Gem of Tagath audio out, and then by the end of March I'll have the AKITHAR'S Greatest Trick audio out. We'll see if I can do that. We'll see how the process goes, but that's the plan. Also in March, I'm going to start the revisions on Lysandra's Deepest Fear. This is a process that takes me a good long while to do because my books tend to be so long, but I am going to try to do it quicker than I did the revision process for AKITHAR'S Greatest Trick now that I kind of know what I'm doing with this series, and I've allotted myself a few months to do it. I won't go into detail about all the process of that just yet, but I am going to start that in March and see how it goes, and of course I'll be updating here with my progress on that as I get through it. And the third thing that I'm going to be doing in March is I'm going to be figuring out what the next book I'm going to write is. I am not writing Teshovar Book 3 next, and that's because Teshovar Book 2 took a lot out of me. It's an epic fantasy in every sense of the word. It's epically long, it's an epic effort to get it out, and I need a little bit of a break from huge books like that. So I'm planning to write something that will be a little bit quicker to write, probably a little bit shorter than my typical epic fantasy books, and I don't know yet what it's going to be. And that's really exciting to me because I am a big planner, I'm a big outliner, and as far as Teshovar goes, I know what's going to happen in the whole series all the way through book 9. I know what like the next decade of my writing career is going to be as far as those books go. And it's rare for me to get to come into a fresh, brand new project without any preconceived notions about what I'm going to be writing. And so that's going to be the next thing that I write. I'm going to do something that potentially could be in the Teshovar universe. It could be a side story or something else like that. Or it could be a fantasy story outside of Teshovar, outside of that series, something different. Or it could even be me just dabbling in a completely different genre and seeing how that goes. I'm really excited for this because it's going to be kind of experimental channel. It's going to be a much quicker turnaround process than I usually have with my books, and I am giving myself the entirety of March to figure out what I want to write, what direction I want to go with that. So those are the things I'll be working on in March. If you are interested in any of those in particular, or any of my upcoming projects, let me know what you're looking forward to, and let me know if you have any ideas of genres you'd like to see me tackle, or ideas that you have for what direction I should go in for that new project. Who knows, I might get an idea from that that'll help me prioritize a little bit. But definitely like this video, it'll help me get some visibility, and leave a comment below. And like I said, subscribe so you won't miss out on upcoming videos, and I'll look forward to talking with you next time.